Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Commissionees, please enable your video and mute your mic. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fall 2020 Commissioning Ceremony for Michigan Technological University's Army ROTC Department. I am Captain Weiss, and I will be narrating today's ceremony. As we begin, I would like to introduce our official party, Major Daniel Gush, Chair Department of Michigan Technological Military Science, and our guest speaker today, Colonel Warren Sponsor, Chief of Staff, Next Generation Combat Vehicle Cross-Functional Team, Army Futures Command. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all distinguished guests, families, and friends who are here to support our nation's soon-to-be newest officers. This day begins a great journey for them, and it is important that you are here to share in this experience. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Welcome to President of Michigan Technological University, Dr. Richard Kovac, and his wife, Mrs. Valerie Kovac. Welcome to the members of the Board of Trustees, Department Deans and Chairs, Provost, Dean of Students, Department Vice Presidents, Associate Vice Presidents and Directors, Public Safety and Police Services, and numerous faculty, staff, and alumni present. Thank you for your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for our nation's national anthem. Please be seated. Major Gush, Professor of Military Science, will now introduce the guest speaker and open the ceremony.
Thank you, Captain Weiss. Good morning, everyone. I'm Major Daniel Gush, the Military Science Professor at Michigan Technological University. Thank you to our family members, friends, and distinguished guests for joining us as we commission our Army's newest second lieutenants. The world finds itself in unprecedented times as we are distanced, virtual, and remote for most things in our lives now. This is our second virtual commissioning, and not as powerful as in person, but the meaning and significance of this time-honored tradition has not changed regardless of the modality. To be stalwarts of tradition, but also innovative and tech-savvy, we sought outside counsel from the Army Futures Command for this morning's commissioning class. This morning, we are extremely honored to welcome Colonel Warren Sponsor, the Chief of Staff for the Next Generation Combat Vehicles Cross-Functional Team stationed at Detroit Arsenal, Michigan, as today's commissioning speaker. Colonel Sponsor was commissioned through the United States Military Academy at West Point as an armor officer, and has served in a variety of command and staff positions throughout the Army, including multiple deployments around the world with the 1st Cavalry Division, 3rd Infantry Division, and 4th Infantry Division. In his current position as the Chief of Staff for the Next Generation Combat Vehicles Cross-Functional Team, Colonel Sponsor manages through creative minds and that are tirelessly working to provide the Army the next generation of combat vehicles. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite Colonel Sponsor to give our commissioning address.
Hey, good morning, and thank you for the great introduction. Really appreciate it. Wish we could be there in person today, as you mentioned. It is interesting times, but really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. You're on a very important day for our newly commissioned second lieutenants here. First, I would like to welcome all of the families that are on today. I know that from my own personal experience, if not for the support of my family and my friends from the day that I first started to think about entering an Army career until today, I certainly would not be where I am. So welcome to all the families that are gathered around to help support these newly commissioned lieutenants again. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the administrative staff and faculty from Michigan Tech who was able to also attend today. It's a big show of support for the program and important, I know, for all the things that the ROTC program does for not just the university and these students, but really for our nation. So definitely appreciate you supporting this. I was not wholly familiar with Michigan Tech, but seeing and getting familiar with the program the last couple of days, it's definitely an impressive package that the team has put together up there. From the video that you saw this morning, looking at the bios for our students and new second lieutenants and the things that they've accomplished, it's definitely clear that their focus is right. We have extremely talented folks, and it's really great to see everything that they're doing. It's just really great to be a part of this ceremony today as you all start on your journey as becoming new lieutenants, new leaders in our Army during a very challenging time. As mentioned, these are interesting days that we're in. But it doesn't change the pace and the requirements that our Army has to do today. Today we've got about 180,000 soldiers committed around the world outside the United States to about 140 different countries doing missions large and small. From small groups of folks in the continent of Africa doing humanitarian support and training with foreign militaries, all the way through the large brigade size and above deployments that are helping to deter our adversaries and continue to support our nation's goals. Our requirements for our Army today have not gotten any less, and they continue to increase as we see conditions changing around the world. Our adversaries and those that would wish to challenge our way of life continue to do what they do as well, whether it's China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, others. Again, further increasing the importance of a strong military. And we're reinforcing that today with the commissioning of these 8 fantastic lieutenants that we're getting ready to put into the Army, and very exciting times here. As you know as well, the coronavirus has placed its own special requirements or conditions that we have to fight through today as well. But again, it hasn't stopped what we do as a military. We still have the requirement to maintain readiness, to train our soldiers, to prepare for combat, to prepare for worldwide deployment, and to do the things that we do. And what it's done especially is it's created a condition on our young leaders, unlike what I faced certainly as a new lieutenant or newly commissioned officer, and pretty much unprecedented in the past. And it's requiring our leaders to look at creative ways to solve problems, be innovative, and fight through adversity and challenge. Whether it be training our soldiers in initial entry training, conducting tank gunnery, conducting squad live fires, or anything in between. Innovative leaders are those that are really demonstrating and showing how to fight through what we're doing today. So it's pretty exciting to see the solutions that they're coming up with. Now, clearly that's not an innovative solution is not leading through text, and we still through text messages, and we still require, of course, that personal interaction to support our soldiers and families as they are definitely going through some challenges of their own. So it does mean being innovative, being creative, and then also leaning on our professional NCO Corps that I'm sure you as our through your pre-commissioning have talked about the strength of our NCO Corps, and I can't say it enough. It is the envy of our allies and adversaries alike. The ability that our NCO Corps has to help train our soldiers, to train us and our officer corps, and to keep us straight. So continue to lean on them as you go forward. One thing that I've certainly learned over time is that, it's the people that surround us that make us better. and our ability to be able to identify talent, get the right folks, and then discover ways that we can all work together towards the same objectives is what's going to help us move forward. If you ever find yourself thinking that you're the smartest person in the room, then you probably need to rethink the team that you're putting around you, because there's a lot of wonderful people out there that can help us to do the missions that we have and the jobs that we have based on their own expertise. So let me talk a little bit about expectations as you head out into the Army. You know, this is an interesting time, like we said, to be entering our military, and folks are going to expect certain things of you as the nation has put this trust in you as a newly commissioned officer. Your soldiers and your team will expect you to provide that steadfast and loyal, steadfast and calm leadership through everything that you're doing. Always remember that your role is to serve your soldiers, not the other way around. Lead with humility, and sometimes that's not an easy thing to do, but you have to remember again what our role is in executing selfless service. To our commanders, you know, our commanders expect us all to learn quickly, to make mistakes. Mistakes are okay, but we're expected to learn from them. Don't let those mistakes drive you down. Instead, find opportunity to get better in everything that you're doing. Be able to take criticism and learn from it. You know, it's important to maintain that winning attitude in everything that we do. As our Chief of Staff of the Army reminds us all the time, especially in our interactions and the things that we're doing today in Army Futures Command as well. Winning matters. Winning's important. And so learning from our mistakes, getting better, and then winning is the way that we have to continue to operate. Our peers out there, our peers will expect us to be teammates. As you've probably heard before, you know, the Army is a team sport. It's a team activity. There is no place for those who are not willing to act as a part of a team. And those that realize or start to operate outside of that construct of being a member of a team quickly realize and reach beyond their potential because of the teamwork that's necessary for our Army to do what it does today. And lastly, what does the Army really expect us to do? Well, it expects us to live the Army values. You know, we've laid that out pretty clearly. It may sound trite, but it is important that we as leaders, as we go through our journey, look back at the Army values and then help to analyze, hey, you know, what part am I living up to? Where am I falling short? Where do I need to improve? And what's important to me? It's really important that we take a look at that from time to time. And lastly, the Army expects us to solve problems. Now, this commissioning class, it looks like all come from an engineering background, which fits very well into what we do as leaders from day to day, because it's really all about solving problems. How do we solve the problems that are presented to us in challenging times? And that's very similar to what we do as in engineering. Analyze a problem, develop a creative solution, and solve it. And I can't say enough about the ability that we have as leaders to create cultures inside of our organization, because a positive culture can rise above any other challenge. So a couple of quick things that I can guarantee you as you start this journey into the Army. First, that the Army that you enter today is not going to be the Army that you'll leave. It's been a pretty exciting journey. I know from my own personal experience from when I first entered the military until today. And today things are happening rapidly, more rapidly than ever before. Whether we're talking about modernization and what we're doing with technology and capabilities, which very much fits into what we do in Army Futures Command, or the opportunities that are presented based on how quickly the Army is changing. So just a few examples of things today that we should be very proud of about what our military and Army is doing and where it's going. You know, the expansion of the roles of our soldiers to include female soldiers into the combat arms has only made our military better and our Army better. I talk to peers around the Army all the time, and without a doubt, as we looked at things like physical fitness and looked at things like how we execute the missions that we do, that inclusion has, again, made our military better and continues to do so. How we recruit and retain our talent. So the Army has embarked upon a new method of being able to recruit and really retain the best talent and find the best positions for our officers, soldiers, and leaders across the Army, which provides tremendous opportunity that didn't exist just a few short years ago, where you can really find the best place to apply those skills and experience and background that you have to help to add to the organization, to our team, to our Army, and to our military. We've changed the way that we look after each other. things like the Not in My Squad initiative and others that help us to really understand how to take care of one another, how to look after each other, and how to find opportunity. The opportunities today for the multi-component for our Compo 2 and 3 National Guard and Reserve soldiers is very much different than what it was just a few short years ago. Having been spent a lot of time out at the National Training Center and being able to integrate not only our active duty forces out there, but more and more our other compo units from the Reserve and National Guard. It's a great thing to see because of the capabilities that those different compos bring into everything that we do. And then lastly, I can't help but to talk a little bit about the rapid pace of change in our technology. So, being a part of Army Futures Command, it's an exciting time today. This is the first or the largest adjustment that our Army has made today in the last 50 years or so, in how we acquire new capabilities and modernize the force. So we're seeing big changes in not only the equipment, but also the way that we fight. Just in our own world, look at things like the combat platforms that we have today that were identified and developed in some cases 40 years ago. Well, today we have new capabilities that allow our soldiers to fight better than they ever have before, new processes to get them out faster, and continue to find opportunity through the modernization process. Being able to really capitalize on innovation and capability that is out there. So another thing that I can guarantee you is that without a doubt, seemingly bad things and some really bad things are going to happen to you as a part of your service and around you. But I'd remind you that it's not so much the things that happen, but instead it's how you react to them and how you respond to them that really matters and is the true test. Look for opportunities in even those worst situations because they will happen. But again, it sometimes gives you an opportunity to be able to build your climate and to be able to build your team through that adversity. But the truth is though, that those challenging times are going to happen. And I can't reinforce enough that a positive attitude and being able to lead from the front, that positive attitude is infectious. And understand what leading from the front is. It's not just standing in front of your squads and being on the point of an attack, but leading from the front, both morally, leading from the front ethically, and then leading from the front in the hardship that your soldiers will endure as well. I can guarantee you as well that you're going to get jobs and missions that you don't necessarily want. That's okay. It happens. We understand that. And it's not so much the jobs that you get, but how you perform in them that matters. I can tell you that all of us that are serving today, we've all had the opportunity to fight through a challenge of not quite understanding what the mission is that we're given, not quite wanting to do it. But again, it's all about finding the chance where you can do your best in everything that you're given and the challenges that are laid out in front of you. And the last thing that I'll mention, we already touched on a little bit, the last big challenge really is change. Again, change is going to happen, but change is good. Change provides opportunity. Change develops the chance for innovation, and it provides the chance to see and do new things as well. Just in my Army journey, had the chance to serve from coast to coast, posts and stations all around the country and all around the world, exposed my family to new things. My wife and 3 young boys had the chance to do things that otherwise, having not served in the military, I never would have been able to do. And really just in not only in your personal life, but also in your professional life, that change does provide the chance for you to see new things, do new things, innovate, and grow as a person. So a couple of things to close. Again, it's not the experience and the skills that you gain as a part of this profession that's important, but instead it's the legacy that you leave behind, the relationships that you develop, and how you help others. That's what we do as leaders in the military. We are a people-focused business without a doubt. And so it's those that legacy of relationships that's most important. So always remember that. It may seem like the smallest engagement or discussion with somebody, or especially a young soldier out there, has really no impact, but those situations have tremendous impacts if you show that you care and you show that you're committed to their success as well. Leave each unit better than you found it. I can't stress enough how important that is to continue to do so. So as you head off to BOLC and start building your relationships, just remember that, and huge opportunities as you start to get out there and spending time with our military. So I'll finish kind of where I started, and that is thank you again to all the families that are here today, that are supporting the soldiers and these leaders that are being commissioned today. Again, your support is what's gotten them to where they are today, and they're going to continue to lean on you as they go through their Army journey, no matter what shape that takes. So again, welcome to the 1% of people who have raised their right hand and chose to serve our military. I appreciate everything that you're doing and the adventures that you're about to have, serving our soldiers and serving our Army in a very interesting time. So again, best of luck to you. Have a safe and happy holiday season. God bless and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Sponsor. We will now administer the oath of office to our Army commissionees. The Constitution of the United States serves as the bedrock of authority and responsibility upon which the oath of office is instituted. The oath of office links directly back to the Constitution and is the commitment that all officers make to service and leadership. Pay special attention to the words as they are spoken. These cadets are pledging themselves to uphold our Constitution and defend our nation and its values. Following the oath, each new second lieutenant will have their new rank pinned on them by their family and friends. Each new second lieutenant will then participate in the time-honored tradition of the silver dollar salute. The first enlisted service member who salutes the second lieutenant following their commissioning receives a silver dollar, symbolizing the deep sense of gratitude and knowledge passed on during training. It's acknowledgement from one professional soldier to another saying, "Welcome to our military, our profession of arms." Cadets Paul Allen, Alex Ashley, Jesse Bain, Caroline Potter, Benjamin McKenzie, and Colin Mitchell will have their oath of office administered by Lieutenant Colonel Retired Colleen Klausner. Cadets, please unmute your microphones at this time.
Good morning, cadets. Please repeat after me. I state your full name.
I,
Caroline Ann Potter,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
having
having been appointed an officer of the United States,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
grade of second
second
lieutenant,
lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I take this obligation freely
that I
Take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office
I will well faithfully discharge the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, lieutenants.
Thank you. Cadets, please mute your microphones at this time. Second Lieutenant Paul Allen will have his rank pin on by his parents, Kim and Paul Allen. Lieutenant Allen graduates today with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, cum laude. He is commissioned as a field artillery officer, and his next training assignment is Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Also celebrating are Lieutenant Allen's family and friends. Lieutenant Allen will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Allen will exchange his first salute with Master Sergeant Browning.
Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Second Lieutenant Alex Ashley will have his rank pinned on by his parents, Alan and Julie Ashley. Lieutenant Ashley graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He is commissioned as a military intelligence officer with the United States Army Reserves, and his next training assignment is Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Also celebrating today with Lieutenant Ashley are his family and friends. Lieutenant Ashley will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Ashley will exchange his first salute with Sergeant First Class Bates.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Ashley. Second Lieutenant Jesse Bain will have his rank pinned on by his parent. Lieutenant Bain graduates today with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He is commissioned as an infantry officer in the Wisconsin National Guard, and his next training assignment is Fort Benning, Georgia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Bain are his family and friends. Lieutenant Bain will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Bain will exchange his first salute with Specialist Teddy Kraus.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Bain. Second Lieutenant Caroline Cotter will have her rank pinned on by her parents, her mother Denise, sister Erica, and brother Devin, and her partner Ray Hahn. Lieutenant Cotter graduates today with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. She is commissioned as a field artillery officer with the Minnesota National Guard, and her next training assignment is Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Cotter are her family and friends. Lieutenant Cotter will now participate in the time-honored tradition of her first salute. She will exchange her first salute with her father, Dan Cotter.
Congratulations, Caroline.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Cotter. Second Lieutenant Benjamin McKenzie will have his rank pinned on by his parents, Dan and Christy McKenzie, and fiance, Sarah Neeser. Lieutenant McKenzie graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, cum laude. He is commissioned as an ordnance officer in the Michigan National Guard, and his next training assignment is Fort Lee, Virginia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant McKenzie are his family and friends. Lieutenant McKenzie will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant McKenzie will exchange his first salute with Steve Fox.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Congratulations, Lieutenant McKenzie. Second Lieutenant Colin Mitchell will have his rank pinned on by his parents, Rich and Karen Mitchell. Lieutenant Mitchell graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, cum laude. He is commissioned as an infantry officer in the Michigan National Guard, and his next training assignment is Fort Benning, Georgia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Mitchell are his family and friends. Lieutenant Mitchell will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Mitchell will exchange his first salute with Rich Mitchell. Congratulations, Lieutenant Mitchell. The next Army cadet we will commission this morning is William Norton. Cadet Norton will have his oath of office administered by Captain Retired David Thompson Norton.
Raise your right hand. I, William Coleman Norton,
I, William Coleman Norton,
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Norton.
Thank you.
Second Lieutenant Norton will now have his rank pinned on by his father, Richard Norton, and mother, Patricia Coleman. Lieutenant Norton graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He is commissioned as an armor officer, and his next training assignment is Fort Benning, Georgia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Norton are his family and friends. Lieutenant Norton will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Norton will exchange his first salute with his grandfather, Jim Norton. Congratulations, Lieutenant Norton. The next Army cadet we will commission this morning is Cadet Bernadette Spezia. Cadet Spezia will have her oath of office administered by Major Megan Breen.
I state your name.
I, Bernadette Spezia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith
that I bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I enter this obligation freely
that I enter this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office on which I am about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Spezia will now have her rank pinned on by her father, Joe Spezia, and mother, Connie Spezia. Lieutenant Spezia graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management. She is commissioned as an engineer officer, and her next training assignment is Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Celebrating today with Lieutenant Spezia are her family and friends. Lieutenant Spezia will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Spezia will exchange her first salute with First Sergeant Lee DeForge. Congratulations, Lieutenant Spezia. I'd like to call Lieutenant Colonel Retired Klausner to provide remarks on behalf of the class of 2020.
Thank you, Captain Weiss. Good morning, and thank you for letting me share a few remarks that I've learned about these young lieutenants over the past 4 years. This is the first class I have witnessed to go from being a freshman to commissioning. I've been there every step of the way as they have transitioned through 4 PMSs during their stint here at Tech. That's just the nature of the Army. Let's start with Lieutenant Allen. Lieutenant Allen, I've always had a soft spot for Lieutenant Allen, but people will say I've had a soft spot for all of them. Lieutenant Allen took the rough road getting through MTU. He majors in electrical engineering, which is no easy degree, and joins the Army Reserve to help pay for school. You have to be an electrical engineer to figure out the bureaucratic Army Reserve school payment system. He figured it out and will be headed to Fort Sill, Oklahoma in February. Lieutenant Ashley. Lieutenant Ashley has always been ahead of the game and basically chartered his own course through ROTC. He attended advanced camp early after his sophomore year. Typically, you go after your junior year. He shrugged it off and he wasn't concerned. He had a solid performance and was put in a leadership role once back on campus. He now, once again, is charting a new course by heading west to Seattle to find new challenges. Let's just hope he becomes the city manager and gets that city back in order. Lieutenant Bailey. I tend to impart motherly advice when the cadets just decide to do something crazy, like getting married while still in college. He told me that he did not want her to get away. She's beautiful, intelligent, already has her degree, and is working in her field of study. She definitely sounds like a keeper, so I guess I couldn't argue with him too much. Lieutenant Bain is a go-getter and competed for an infantry spot with the Wisconsin National Guard. The Wisconsin National Guard was very lucky to have secured him as one of their future leaders. Lieutenant Cotter. Lieutenant Cotter always steps up to the plate and is willing to help people without any reservations. Recently, I had a PhD student call me. She was going to get a direct commission and she needed a running partner to get her in shape. Sent an email to the female cadets, and Lieutenant Cotter was the first one to respond. Then COVID hits, and Lieutenant Cotter is stepping up to the plate again, but for a bigger mission. Her parents asked her to come back home to help homeschool her younger brother. What a wonderful daughter you have raised, where she puts family and country first. Lieutenant McKenzie. Lieutenant McKenzie is probably one of the most determined cadets you'll find. He met with Mr. Fox, our recruiting officer, to discuss his options with ROTC. Mr. Fox laid out the plan of what he needs to do, and Lieutenant McKenzie returned to campus and met all the requirements. Mr. Fox was impressed and immediately submitted a scholarship packet. He earned that scholarship for his remaining semesters at Michigan Tech. Lieutenant McKenzie is a Cinderella story, which I'm sure he doesn't want to be remembered as such, but let's just say he's a success story. I know he will continue to persevere and inspire others to do the same. Lieutenant Mitchell. Lieutenant Mitchell has always been one of those under the radar kind of guys. He does what he's told, keeps his nose clean, leads by example, and always ends up smelling like a rose. I didn't see him hanging around the ROTC building much, which meant he was staying busy. He competed for an infantry slot with the Michigan National Guard and earned one. He's going to be one of those guys who will come back to Winter Carnival 20 years later as a full bird colonel, and you all are going to ask, how'd that happen? He's just one of those under the radar kind of guys. Lieutenant Norton. I met Lieutenant Norton's grandfather recently, who was a Tech alum. I could tell that his grandfather was so proud of him of being a student here at Tech. I'm so glad Michigan Tech was able to lure Lieutenant Norton away from that Ann Arbor school downstate. Last year, Lieutenant Norton oversaw a fundraiser, the Hammer Run, up Mount Ripley. I convinced Lieutenant Norton to be interviewed on the local radio station to promote the event. He did a fantastic job and was a natural on the radio. If the Army thing doesn't work out for you, there's always radio. Lieutenant Spezia. Where do I start with Lieutenant Spezia? Let's just say she kept me busy and I never had to worry about job security. Between her dad, me, and Bernadette, we were able to get her qualified to contract with ROTC in the nick of time. Lieutenant Spezia is the perfect cadet. And it took the Army a bit of time to realize what we already knew. She never lost faith and karma prevailed. She ranked top in her ROTC class and was the cadet battalion commander. You want something done? Ask Lieutenant Spezia and she'll have it done yesterday. So look out, Fort Leonard Wood. Lieutenant Spezia is heading away for her officer training course right after the holidays. Congratulations, I'm going to miss you all. Keep in touch, and I'll be followed by Major Gush for his closing remarks.
Thank you, Colleen. Those were very thoughtful remarks. Secondly, I want to thank Colonel Sponsler. Sir, your words were perfectly matched for our Army's newest second lieutenants. It was an honor having you speak today, and I look forward to bringing you this coin in person next spring. I also want to thank the members of the Board of Trustees, President and Mrs. Kobeck, University Vice Presidents, Deans to include our Dean for the College of Science and Arts, Dr. Dave Hemmer, the Michigan Tech Flex Team, and Dr. Kelly Cam, who are pivotal every day to our program. The Arctic Warrior alumni watching on Facebook Live from around the world, family members, friends, and most importantly, our guests of honor, the Army's newest second lieutenants. Your journey in leadership development was unique to say the least. You graduated and commissioned in a time of constant unknowns and are now postured and forged to lead America's greatest asset, the American soldier. You were born and raised for this opportunity, and your time is now. The internet, smartphones, virtual meetings, and a litany of technological advancements have developed and advanced alongside you. You are moving into a time of unknown unknowns, but you are the generation postured perfectly for this period in world history. Your strengths are other generations' weaknesses. Your goals and drive are unmatched, and you are eager to make change. As the world emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic, you are the leaders that will forge the next chapter in human and US history. From the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the Military Science Department at Michigan Technological University, it was an honor to foster the beginning of your leadership journey. We are proud of all your accomplishments to this point, and we look forward to hearing about all your future successes and endeavors in the United States Army. Arctic Warriors.
Thank you, Major Gush and Lieutenant Colonel Klausner. All second lieutenants, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you for the first time our nation's newest officers. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Held off front pages loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Please join me in a final applause for today's newest commissioned officers. On behalf of the U.S. military's newest officers and the Michigan Technological University Army ROTC, I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's ceremony.